What is not working is not working. Bounce. It was in my early days in primary school. An assessment of 5 questions was administered to us. I had answers for questions number 1 and 2, but had no answer for questions 3. I went ahead to submit my script to the class teacher, attempting only 2 questions. I attempted a couple of assessments that way. Then one day, my class teacher discovered that I had stopped writing. He walked to me and asked why I wasn't writing. As I was about to do him an explanation, he interrupted to say that if I had no answer to any questions, I could skip any question I had no answer to and move on. He went ahead to explain to me that examinations were time bound. So long as I had time, I was allowed to attempt questions in any order: top, bottom, bottom, top, midpoint, anyway, however I wanted to attempt the questions. Until this time, it felt like examinations were meant to be attempted sequentially according to the listing of the questions. But my class teacher said to me, no. All that governs examination is time. So long as there is time, you are open to manipulating or steering your exams anyhow and any way you wanted it. That was also the day I understood that it wasn't illegal to skip questions during examinations. My dear, whatever is not working is not working. Move on. I'll say that again. Whatever is not working is not working. Move on. Life is time bound. So long as there is time on your side, though life will pose to you several questions in different dimensions and in different ratio of difficulties. But there's one thing you should know: so long as you have life, you are open to attempting the questions life bring your way in any order. You're not meant to be stuck there. So if you come by a situation you don't understand, if you come by a puzzle in the course of life, all you should do is excuse yourself for a moment, move to the next thing. Most times, as I've discovered, even during examinations, answers to some questions that are in the fore are hinted as you get along studying the questions. Life play in like manner. There are times you come by puzzles in life we have no answers to. As we get along doing other things by themselves, solution will be preferred. So do not get stuck like me, doing all you can to must attempt questions life brings to you that are still confusing and conflicting. Move on to the next question. Move on to other questions you feel simple to tackle. As you walk your way around other questions you can tackle, other questions life brings to you that you can tackle by itself, you may actually find the solution to those you could not understand. It is important I also let you know that for every question life brings to you that you have no understanding, there are designed several other options. Let me put that in another way. For every question life brings to you that you have no answer to, there are several other options. So you're not meant to get stuck at a point. At every point in time, there is an option. That is the way life is designed. So do not get stuck because you came by something you don't understand and don't begin to feel it has ended there. What this is simply saying to you is that if you come by a particular thing you don't understand, if you come by a particular situation you cannot unravel, if you come by a particular situation you have no answers to, move to what you understand. Start living your life from the known to the unknown. That is the way to go. Move on to the next available option that you know you can handle. Handle what you can handle very well, and grow into what you do not understand. You don't remain in what you don't understand, trying so hard or beating about so hard to must do it. Life is not directed that way. It is when you start from the known that you walk your way into the unknown. So long as you remain battling with the unknown, your battle will be long. It will be wasteful. Remember, life is time bound. Do not waste your time at any point trying so hard to figure out what is complicated. If it becomes too necessary that you have to, then take some training around that area. As you're doing that, let your hands be on what you know. Be diligently affixed to what you know. That is the way life is. Don't come by a puzzle and feel it's the end of life. No. Recently I got information about a promising medical doctor who was serving with the University of Calabar Teaching Hospital. I learned that a young man, very promising, committed suicide because he attempted a promotional exams 3 times and failed. So when this information got to me, I wasn't very certain about the validity of the information. So I did some inquiry to discover that the story that I heard was true. The wife testified to that. So the husband came home and started calling himself a failure. Told the wife he is a failure, called a couple of times. And I went and drank insecticides. That is what he drank to kill himself, to end it all. Because a group of professionals, because a group of persons, human beings like him, sat back and appraised him a failure, he decided to end it all. He could not contend with the shame. He could not contend with the embarrassment that came with that. He could not handle it. He could not manage it. I am saying that wasn't very reasonable. Yeah, I'm saying that again. That wasn't very reasonable. Why will you terminate your life because of a profession that was initiated and carved by humans like you. Worst case scenario, this young man would have left medical practice for any other profession. Professions were actually started by men. And so do not allow an activity that was brought about by a fellow man like you reduce you to the level of insects. Yes, because the medium by which he passed on is actually the medium by which insects were meant to be killed. So adopting that medium to die means reducing yourself to the level of insects. Why? A human being like you, very reasonable, very knowledgeable. You have started winning from the beginning. You got to medical school, you got to the university, you have scaled through all of that because somebody has oppressed you now for the third time and feel you're not meant to scale a particular rank. You got to the point of taking your own life. That is insane. That isn't reasonable, if you ask me. That young man could have started his own profession, for all I care, until of late comedy was nothing to write home about. Until of late, music in Nigeria was nothing to write home about. Until of late, even filmmaking, movies, wasn't anything to write home about. We saw people who went for theater acts as very funny individuals, saw them as very unserious bunch of individuals. But what is happening today? People came together, nurtured this profession, brought them to fame. You can start anything. If you ask me, when you come by a crossroad, when you come by a point where life becomes too challenging, when it becomes very difficult to figure out what you really need to do for your life, when the path you have taken through life is being barricaded by things you don't understand, I think all life is trying to say to you is seek to tent your values elsewhere. That may be all life is saying to you. Life wouldn't say to you, go end it all, you're a failure. Life cannot do that. The only thing life might be saying to you when you come by a crossroad is, look, there are different options. Seek to stake your tent elsewhere. That's all life might be saying. And people have left professions that people think are very rewarding and lucrative to other professions, and they did well. We've seen medical doctors, we've seen medical doctors abandon practice for politics. We've seen medical doctors abandon practice for agriculture. We've seen medical doctors abandon practice for other things, so for movies, for filmmaking and all of that. Very creative minds. So why will you narrow yourself to your job? You are not your job. You aren't your job. Get that? And your job isn't you. There is something inside of everyone, right? There is a potential inside of everyone that has been beckoning for attention, that has been begging for attention, that has been calling you every day. There is something, there is a gift in you that has been calling you to act on it every day. How can a humanitarian being like a medical doctor, trained medical doctor, take his life because he failed exams? Why didn't he just adopt other humanitarian activities and start just acting up to the benefit of men? For every single reason you see to die, see 1,000 other reasons that should make you want to live and live again. Let life take its natural course on you. You are not responsible for your life. You have no right to take a life you cannot forge. Instead of offering to die for free, then validating the opinions of others, why didn't you just opt to live and prove a point? See, so long as you still have life, so long as nature, divinity, or whatever it is that has given you energy, potentials, and life to live, this privilege, this singular privilege to express your essence, so long as you still have that privilege, you can always adjust and adapt. Do not allow men to dictate and tell you who you are. You are the only one who can appraise your values and understand who you really are. And of course, every human being is good at something. Just shift, make a shift from what you think you're not very good at to what you know you are good at. No one is stopping you. Do not allow men form boundaries for which you should survive. Do not allow men establish and dictate the tune for your living. The effort within are yours. The understanding within is yours. Everything that you come by, you are the one who understands how you feel, what you think. In fact, I have said it a couple of times. It is enclosed, preciously enclosed, so not to allow anybody tamper with your thoughts. The next time you come by something so challenging, the next time you come by prodding calls for you to do away with your life, the next time you come by a voice asking you to end it all, stand up and tell that voice that you have 1,000 reasons. You have 1,000 reasons to live. Thank you very much. I'll come your way again. Have a beautiful day.